start the recording, and then, same as usual, just be a minute or so looking for something to talk about.
Yeah, no worries.
And then also I repeat that every time just so YouTube can hear it.
Nice.
Hey, good job. Good roll away. Okay, so far looking good. Maybe I have one thing my mind will talk about, but
Alright.
nothing so far. Pretty good idea to take high ground. Very nice.
Oh shit, that was not what I meant to do.
Yep.
I need better aim. Ooh.
Alright, so
I fire
a
strike.
couple things there. First off, have we had conversations on target priority at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't shoot at just the tanks.
Alright, so there's also other target priority within that of just don't shoot at hard things to kill. So for example, probably not a good idea to try to focus down a Valking Mercy unless she's rezzing or she's already low or you have high noon. Right. Besides that, make sure that you're just constantly shooting. You're all trying to constantly output damage. As sometimes we maybe like take some short breaks when we could have been doing things. Right. So that's just actions per minute. And then continuing on. Maybe not rolling into their team, of course, and then we're going to talk about like how to know when to left click or right click into your flashbang after we're done here. Watch your health bar. You're 8 HP there, right? So watch your health bar.
Should just went back.
Up. Exactly. Back up. Request healing. Just awareness there. Besides that, wait, what was the other thing in my mind? Oh yeah, faster fire rate. Probably just hold down your gun. There's some situations where you're not going to, but in most cases here, you're just gonna hold down left click because you want to kill things fast, right? And if you hold it down, you're firing at a faster rate, which means that you're killing things faster. Right? It may take some time to get used to firing.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird, but I get it. Yeah, it's hard to track.
Now, if there is nothing to shoot at, you do let go, right? You only hold it down if you're actively shooting at something. And there are times where you tap fire, like, for example, if you're trying to get around like a defense matrix, or if someone's like moving around really fast and you need some time to readjust, right? So there's certain situations where you'll tap fire, but if you're just aiming straight at somebody, then just hold it down. Watch the rolls, rolling into danger a lot, so just pay attention to the direction, because you roll the direction that your keys are facing, right? So pay attention to the direction in which you're rolling. There as well, we are a little bit in some dangerous territory. Try to put ourselves, if possible, a little bit further away from the fight. We prefer like a close to medium range. We don't want to be like in their face, preferably, right?
Gotcha. What's a good high noon spot over here?
Yeah, so from right here, you don't necessarily have a fantastic place to go for high noon from unless you went like top right. But you can probably do it from like within your tanks, probably. Right, use them for protection or something of that sort.
Oh.
Oh, a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Might suggest maybe like rolling sooner, because then that gives you more time to like adjust while you're in the room,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
you get to see like where are you in comparison to the bomb, um, rather than like getting that like the last second. Here, maybe if you're looking for a Deadeye, your objective could be to like sneak in the right room and do a wrap around to the high ground. That could be an idea here.
Like here.
Yeah, but we just want to make sure, yeah, our team's making some space for us.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Checking
Reaper
our
was in there.
corners. That's
Yeah,
just corner checking, right? That's
yeah.
essentially anytime you walk into a room, you just look left, look right, right?
Back in the saddle again.
So if we know Reaper's hanging out in that room, if you do this again, maybe we can like peek it and be ready for him with a flashbang or something of that sort.
I hear him. Oh, he just dropped it. I tried to wait. All I got was Diva's mech.
Yeah, if it's going to end up killing you, probably just better that you fire it off, because you want to prioritize staying alive over trying to get a kill, right? So in that situation, if you think it's going to end up killing you to hold it longer, just fire it off, or even just cancel it and regroup, right? Because you don't want to suicide to try to get a kill or two.
Oh, I can't believe I survived that.
Much better.
Okay, like with a high noon here, maybe go like top left on the boxes or something.
Up here?
Yeah, just like stand on the boxes, that way you can see like people who are over it.
Oh god, that's not what I meant. Oh,
Take what you can get there. You don't want to overstay your welcome. So once you see the Moira's, you see the skull on Moira, and just in case you weren't aware, you will see a skull when you have a target acquired. You'll get a full red circle,
this,
right?
yeah.
And then just take the Moira, but instead we kind of held it too long, and then again died with a high noon. We want to make sure we're trying to stay alive while we're high nooning, and then of course the big mistake being accidentally falling into their team.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Be careful about getting that aggressive when you probably could secure the same kill on Hanzo from just sitting on top of those boxes and never leaving cover, right? So we've had conversations on cover, I would assume within 3 sessions, that we hopefully have gone over that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So making sure we're using cover. On top of that, McCree, we'll talk about McCree's range when we go out and go to the training range in like specifics, but McCree doesn't like to be like up on top of people in a lot of cases, because there's just other characters that do it better than him, right? So think, for example, Reinhardt, who's just, why would you run inside of a Reinhardt when you can shoot him and not be inside of him, right? And Doomfist does it better than him. Junkrat does it better than him, right? Reaper does it better than him. Mei does it better than him, right? You just other characters like Briggo's Bash, right? Like what? So there's other characters out there who just have better close ranges. Therefore, in a lot of cases, you're not going to want to run into them. And then also getting close to people means that you're like putting yourself out in the open in a lot of cases, right? So just be careful about running into them, as we've kind of gotten a little over aggressive a bunch of times here, and we're dying quite a bit. Do you mind pressing tab real quick? I think we died. It's 7 deaths, which isn't like a great death rate to have at the moment, because if you press tab again, it shows you the time in the top left. If you weren't aware of that, it's 8 minutes. So right now we have almost a death a minute. So we've had conversations on survivability. Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And also
obviously.
stupid people.
Yeah. Here, yeah, stupid people. This might be, even if you're with the stupid people here, it might be a good idea to
What?
still be on the high ground, because you can support them on the ground while still being high ground, right? Since you have range on McCree. Yeah, I just say be careful about over-aggression, as that seems to be getting you killed in a couple instances here, so just be careful about going too far forwards. Uh-oh, watch for the dynamite.
Oh man.
Okay, right there, just make sure you're getting some spam shots in, right? We're not just kind of sitting there. Yeah. Large portion during that. Oh, we're 3 HP. Nice.
Much better.
Yeah, we spent a large portion of that fight not really doing anything in particular.
Gotcha. I should die here, or should I try to do my grab the high ground and do a high noon
Yeah, it's
behind him?
possible we could. You know, I'd see if they push you. If they're not gonna push you, maybe crouch it up, sneak behind them, take the high ground like you said. Yeah. Might want to add some crouches in, especially since you hear people below you. You can walk while you crouch, right? It's just you want to be, quiet, crouching,
As
use your
stealthy as
footsteps,
possible.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can if people aren't near you, you can crouch spam.
Always was, but that
Massive. Woo! All right.
That was a pretty nice one.
Yeah, that was a 6K. That was pretty nasty, man. So yeah, in that instance on the Ash, you might have been better off just like lining up headshots and just going 1-2 tap headshots. That way you don't have to wait so long till you get like an inch from her, and that gives her less time to react to you. Here, reposition up the high grounds is what you want to be doing at the moment. Right, in between fights, make sure we're repositioning up the high grounds. No, right side stairs. Right, because then we don't want to be making this rotation while the fight's going on, which is kind of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
If the fight does
Woo!
end up starting, just wait on the rotation. You don't want to be doing a rotation in the middle
Oh
of the
gosh.
fight.
Gotcha.
Awareness of our surroundings, right? Paying attention to him. So there, just the slow rotation, taking high ground faster, and then also just being aware of our surroundings.
let's start over at the beginning.
But yeah, when you're doing sneaky plays, if you're near people, or sorry, if you're not near people at all, you don't have to crouch. If you're semi-near people, you crouch spam, where you go crouch, uncrouch, crouch, uncrouch. And then when you get really close to people, you're going to hold crouch.
No.
So I'm just grouping up.
Back in the saddle again.
Alright, so usually it's a good idea during games to identify, like, deaths, and this is how I self-improved, is like while I'm playing, identifying the mistakes. So next time you die, let's see if we can take a look at, and think, why did I die in that situation, right? And what could I have done
Gotcha.
better, right? And then that is the road to improving upon yourself. Well,
Oh,
so
no.
why did you die in that scenario?
Because I got too aggressive.
Too aggressive, right?
And I missed my flash. I just missed him
Who's-
pretty much every shot.
In a 1v1 duel, who has the advantage, a Sigma or a McCree?
A Sigma for sure.
Sigma, yeah. More HP, shield, grasp, rock, right? Just the whole shebang. Probably not a good idea to solo push him. No, roll out of it so you're out, not taking damage.
But
No. Reacted a little slowly to that one. Maybe like could have rolled for spawn a little bit sooner.
Back in the saddle again.
very nice.
Mm. He got me before I could get the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in that situation, possibly could have fired like half a second sooner, but besides that, good play to go for.
Well,
Yeah. On this, when you're coming out of spawn there and into a recontest, where do most people come from on your team? Right
From
side or left
here.
side? Right side or left side? Right.
From
Right
yeah,
side.
right side.
Okay.
So
So
you should come out
maybe,
left.
yeah. So maybe a lot. Sometimes you might
Oh,
want to. If you have to rush, right side's faster. But if you have the time, you might want to go left because it just gives you an off angle and gives you a different angle to shoot at them from. Right.
man, Ash
Request
is
peek
beating
the
my
edge.
butt up.
Request healing. Right. Watch your health.
Oh,
Watch the accidentally jumping.
oh gosh.
Don't look at Valking Mercy. We also missed the hog who's like right next to us. We like dropped on top of a hog and didn't notice him.
now hold on.
Watch the health again. Right, request healing. Make sure we're that gets us healing sooner.
So weird trying to hold down the gun and try to remember to do it.
Yep. On pretty much on almost any character in the game, you're doing that, and besides the ones that don't let you do that.
I got you.
Yeah, like like for example, Ashe does not let you hold it down, but any character that does let you hold it down, you should be holding it down in most situations, and then there's certain situations where you wouldn't.
I want a good exit for the Devo bomb here. Should I take high ground here?
Mm-hmm.
Getting close to high noon.
Listening. Probably a good idea to go for the flash, right? It's not like it's a long cooldown. Right, flash isn't a long cooldown, so just anytime someone's close to you, you want to use it. It's like even there, right? Like when these guys are within our range, go for them with the flash. Massive. Now, if you're at a higher rank, that high noon probably would get you killed just because
Yeah, I would have been.
yeah, just because of the fact that they would shoot you sooner in the head because you're kind of out in the open. So whenever you go for high noon, a lot of times it's a good idea to make sure it's either like a surprise. So there's kind of three ways you can go for high noon, right? I'll let you watch your play real quick.
All right, that was pretty dope. I like that one.
Yeah, so there we maybe took like a little too long to kill her. Alright, so I'm streaming if you'd like to take a look. We're gonna go over some stuff here. Alright, so let me stop watching yours. So in any case here, right, when you go for Onion, you have like kind of three different options, right? You can play it safe and play it like inside of your team, right? Use shields, use your team to tank for you. That's gonna be very low risk, but also very low reward high noon, right? Because you have to go through shields and tanks and stuff like that. You can do a high noon from like super far away, right? So for example, like if they don't have anything that can contest you from super far away, you can do it from like all the way back here, and that might make it hard for them to actually shoot at us accurately and do damage. And then we can also, and then that one is like very situational and like the risk reward, but it's usually around like a medium-ish risk, medium reward. And then finally you have the off angle or flank, right? We've discussed off angles and flanks. Yeah. So going on for a high noon on an off angle or a flank, right? This is going to be usually a like medium risk, high reward, right? Because that's gonna get you the highest value as you can get the most people out of it. It's a surprise and they can't really see you coming. So usually that's the one to go for if you have the option for it.
Okay.
Now let's talk about a bunch of other things. So let's see real quick. So McCree. So when to left click versus right click into a flashbang, or just in general. In general, right clicking is something that you do very rarely. But it does happen sometimes, right? So you right click into shields, for example, and then Besides that, there's not many other times you'd right-click outside of a flashbang. Now, in a flashbang, you only right-click in certain instances. Whenever possible, you want to left-click, because left-clicking is going to mean that we can get the kill and just continue to keep on
Rest in
shooting
peace.
after that. We don't have this long reload animation where we can't do anything on top of that. It's going to mean that it's a lot more accurate. So I like saw for example, like we flashed a Baby Diva and tried to right-click, and then just like all those shots missed on her, right? And then for another example, another way that this helps is if we land a flash and we don't have all of our ammo, well, if we right-click, we're not actually going to be able to finish off the target, right? If we don't have all
Yeah.
our ammo, right? So whenever possible,
Rest in
we want to
peace.
left-click, right?
Okay.
Now there's, for example, on a
This feels
tracer.
so cool. You
Go
know? This feels
ahead.
so cool, like Wild West, just like,
Yeah.
you know? But I'll
Yeah.
fight the urge.
Yeah, so like on a tracer, right, you can see her head the entire way around, right? So we can headshot her the same from back there.
Smarts, don't it?
But for example, like on a Reinhardt, we can only see his head in the front. We can't see it from the side, right? We can't see it from behind. Can't see it from the side. So in this situation, from the side or behind, we would right click instead of left click, right? So when you cannot see
Oh,
heads
stop
is
and
when you right
lean.
click. You can also right click when it's a surprise and you don't know someone's there. So for example, someone sneaks up behind you and you have to flick around real quick and right click, right? That's another situation where you might do it. You can right click if like you're right in on top of somebody and you flash, because you can't really flick up to the head super easily,
You
right? But
need
if
a
you're
kill.
premeditating a flash, like we know he's there, we're ready for it, we can pre-aim at the head level, right? We can
Easy.
just hit the shots very easily, so we might want to just go for the left click, right? Now, some other things to go into here are assuming that you're probably not familiar, because I didn't see you use it all. Are you
Dead to right.
familiar with the new McCree roll tech that's out?
Saw a Reddit post on it, but I don't know exactly. Like, I didn't look it up and see how to do it
Yeah.
or anything. But I saw him like rolling onto high grounds and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty OP.
Yep, it's a pretty cool tech. Essentially, how it works is you press spacebar and then roll, but it's a very fast sequence, right? You have to basically, it's like spacebar roll, and it has to be like instantaneously, and it looks something like that, where you don't actually get a roll sound effect, and you kind of roll through the air, and you can actually get extra height with it. So, for example, right, like if I'm right here and I tried to roll normally, I just go there and it can't do anything. Whereas if I were to jump and roll at the same time, now I can actually make it onto this high ground, right? And therefore take the high ground, right? So that's how you do it. I
Bingo.
just practiced in the training range, to be honest. It took me probably, even knowing the sequence, it probably took me like 3 minutes before I even got it once. And
Yeah.
then now I can do it pretty regularly, because essentially just if you're just rolling like on normal, just do it with your normal rolls, because it helps you get into practice. It helps you get it down so that you know how to do it regularly,
I
right?
gotcha.
So just
Yeah,
anytime
yeah.
you
So
roll,
just
try to
use
do
it
it.
anytime you're rolling, like
Yeah.
on when you're rolling out or something.
Mm.
Just use it for
Yeah, and then you'll
practice.
get, yeah, exactly, and then you'll get used to it to where you can do it like most of the time you try. Not every time, but most of the time.
Gotcha.
All right, so let's move on to some other things. So let's move on to, have we gone over crosshair placement at all?
No, not like. I think it'd be super beneficial since with McCree, I feel like that's pretty important. I feel like I'm doing okay, but I honestly messed up something
Hmm?
on my crosshairs, and I was trying to figure out how to change it back.
Okay, so how to change crosshairs is what you're asking here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
So
all about the
mm,
placement, like
yeah.
I definitely think that there's some,
Mm,
like I don't know what flicking means.
yeah. Mm.
You
So
know,
let's talk about some of that stuff then.
okay,
So, crosshairs, how you alter that is you just go to controls. You can also do this by hero specific, but you go to controls. Crosshairs is a down like a tab. You can go in and out, advance, and then you can
gotcha.
change. So I want a crosshairs dot. I think you had it on dot or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
dot. I want it like the normal.
Yeah, crosshair. I probably recommend having on crosshairs for most hit scan characters. So if you just put it on crosshairs, you can adjust the length of it, and you can adjust the gap on it, right, and stuff like that, right. So that's just the basics of that. You can mess around with it if you want in your spare
Okay.
time.
And do
So
you normally keep it on 8 and 8?
yeah, for most hit scan characters, yeah. Some I've adjusted around in the past for other
Or
characters.
McCree specifically, though?
Yeah, I keep
Okay.
it's on 8-8. It honestly, like, that doesn't matter too much, particularly like
Yeah, yeah.
8-8, 8-10,
I mean, I
10-10,
still
something like
do
that.
do okay with a dot. I mean, I know where I'm
Mm,
aiming. I'm just not
yeah.
as quick. You know, I'm 40 years old, so
Yeah.
it's like
Mhm. So some
I'm a
other
little slow.
other characters, it might not matter as much, like particularly characters where you don't have to hit headshots, right? Like Pharah might just be better off on like a dot or something like that, right? Now let's talk about crosshair placement. So essentially, crosshair placement is using your brain to help your aim. It's placing your crosshair in the best place possible to hit the easiest shots. So if we are aiming at head level, or sorry, at body level, if we're just walking around aiming here, we're gonna naturally hit body shots, right? We just come around this corner and we just go bam, bam. Just these are all body shots. We shoot at shields and one slips through, shooting in a crowd of people. These are all just body shots. But if we adjust and we aim up at head level and just walk around aiming at head level, well, now we just naturally we're doing the same stuff, shooting down a corridor, shooting into shields, shooting into people, right? Our shots just naturally hit the heads, right? So we
Yeah.
want to make sure we're aiming up at head level. That's the first basic step to crosshair placement. The
Like
second,
basically all the time, right? Like
yep,
when you're walking around, just always keep it at head level, or at
exactly.
least average head level.
Exactly, right? Average head level,
Yeah.
because different
You gotta
characters have
work
different head
on
heights,
that
which we'll
Yeah.
aim.
discuss in a moment. Right, on top of that, there's also pre-aiming, right? So if we know, for example, bot's going left side, he's coming back right, we're going to pre-aim at head level, so when he comes around the corner here, we can already be hitting the headshot very, very easily, because we're already aiming there, right? Guy on the left, we're pre-aiming head level, right? So when we turn this corner, we're just already looking at his head. Like, for
You
example,
need it,
like sometimes when we would walk, like, out a doorway, we just do a slow turn, right, after we come out, or we would, I saw a time like where we like went down this path where like it opened up and you could look left, right, and we just walked forwards out looking left, right. So look the direction which people are going to be. If we know people are right side here, we'd come around. These guys are on a slope, so the same way we look down on a torb and up on a tank, we're going to look down on these guys. So when we turn the corner, we're already looking at their heads, right? Very
Never
little
had a
adjustment, right?
chance.
And then therefore that means easy shots to make. And let's talk about flicking, because you said you didn't know what it was, and just talk on that a little bit. So flicking is anytime your crosshair needs to travel somewhere very, very fast. It fast, right? Anytime your crosshair has to go from here to there, right? That's a flick, right? Now you can do micro flicking as well, which would be something like this, right? That's a micro flick because you're just
Bullseye.
flicking it across a short distance, right? So when is flicking necessary? When is it not? So flicking is necessary when you're shooting at a fast-moving target, right? Like tracers blinking around you, right? So you might need to flick around to hit the
Hold
tracer,
up
right?
now.
Or
Here
if
comes
someone
trouble.
just sneaks up behind you, you have to flick around to hit them, right? Or someone appears on the corner of our screen. We're shooting down here, and then all of a sudden on the high ground, someone appears, right? So we have to flick up to the high ground, right? And flick onto this guy. But
Can't do
when you're
right.
already aiming at somebody, like we already have our crosshair on said person, flicking does nothing but just mess with their aim, right? Like, there's no reason to. I've seen, I've coached a lot of people, and people do something like this where they'll go shot, right, and they'll like look away for every shot that they hit, or they'll start here and then go like this, right, and they'll
No
do stuff
payment
like that,
required.
and it's just not
This one's
necessary,
on the
right?
house.
With you, I see a tiny little bit of that. It's like very micro, where maybe we'll like, I think the big one is like we'll aim at bodies and then flick up the heads a little bit, right? That's what we'll do. So we just that gets fixed by just aiming at head level and make sure we're not doing random flicks when it's not necessary, right, and then flicking when it is necessary. And then that's pretty much
Have a
it with that.
trail.
What
Okay.
was real quick? What sensitivity and DPI do you run on?
So my DPI, my mouse isn't gonna say it right now because I guess the overlay's not working, but I think
Better
it's
move.
1800. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure, and sensitivity is around. Oh man, let me go look because I adjusted it recently. 2.67.
All right, so that is not a very high sensitivity, particularly because the sense is down. All right, so 1800 times 2.67, you said? Right.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
verify
So.
my DPI here because
Mhm.
it may be higher.
Bingo.
How do I look at that? Oh my God.
It would be in like any software you have for that.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's just like there's two different kinds of software on here. There we
Mm.
go. Performance 4,000.
Okay, so 4,000. Okay, so that's a big difference. So 4,000 Oh, I did times 4. Let me restart that. So it's 2.67 times 4,000. So you have an EDPI, so that's just combining the two, sensitivity and DPI, of 10,680. Right, so for reference, mine is like 3,660 or something like that. Maybe, or sorry, I think like 3,600 or something like that. So yours would be a little around 3 times my sensitivity. So realistically,
Bingo.
it does not matter as much if you're playing like tanky characters, as a lot of tanks don't require as much specific aim. But if you're playing a character like, for example, McCree, who needs to hit pixel perfect headshots, right? Having high sensitivity essentially makes it like you're almost flicking all the time, right? Where it just kind of messes with your aim a little bit. So most of the community in most games agree that high sensitivities are not great
Whoa there.
for hit scan, for any character that requires aim. So I might recommend lowering that a little bit. Now, it doesn't have to be by a ton, but because I don't think of it like a super insanely high sensitivity. I've known people with higher, but I still might recommend lowering it
Set 'em up.
maybe
Knock 'em
around
down.
like a half-ish range, and then that is gonna allow you to hit better shots for the most part. Might take you a little bit to get used to, mess around with a bunch of different sensitivities. Don't expect it to feel great instantly. Sometimes it might take you like 2 days to get used to it. And if in 2 days it's still not feeling good, then swap it up and try to go for something different. But don't expect there to be a little bit of a learning curve, right? You're not gonna swap your sensitivity and then instantly be able to aim better, right? You kind of gotta get used to the new aim. But yeah, that's realistically like what I'd say with just how sensitivities work. But there are the exceptions to the rule if you really like your high sensitivity. Like for example, Pine from Overwatch League, he runs at a high sensitivity as a DPS player, but that's like the kind of away from the norm.
I got you. Now, does it have to do with anything with your resolution too?
Nope, no, not really.
Okay, I didn't know
No.
if your resolution calculates in there because I did like a long time ago, like an Overwatch calculator, and since I play in 2K,
All in
it
honest work.
it for some reason suggested this. But like, so what would you recommend as far as like? So you said you're running around 3,000, and what was your
Yeah, so
your formula that you were using?
yeah, it's just multiplying the two together. So my DPI is 800 and my sensitivity is 4.5. I would say that's around a very average low sensitivity, as that's I did a lot of research in the past on just like looking at a bunch of pros sensitivities and stuff like that. But that's an average low one. You can go lower, you can go a bit higher,
Fair
but I
fight.
probably wouldn't recommend going like very much higher, right? So if, for example, you were to be like at 800 DPI, and I probably wouldn't go higher than like maybe like a 6 sensitivity or something. But in any case,
Okay.
I don't want to spend too much time on that unless you had other questions. Do you have any other
Yeah,
questions on
just
that?
one more question. So right now I have it set to 800 DPI, and like it's literally dragging my mouse across my Windows screen. You know what I mean? Like the mouse is going so slow. I
Yeah,
guess we.
so DPI is how your
Hold up
sensitivity
now. No stopping
for your
me.
mouse when you're not playing a game, right? So if you want a faster DPI because you
Never had
just
a
like your mouse
chance.
moving around faster, then you can up your DPI and maybe lower it in game or something of that sort, right?
I gotcha.
Um, that's an option to go for, right? And then, like I said, like it's test it out, mess around with it, right? See what you like, what you don't like. Go to the practice range and run around with different sensitivities and see, do I like this one? No, I don't like this one. It's too low, right? Go higher. If it's too high, go lower, right?
I gotcha.
That sort of thing. Right, so
Okay. Yeah.
let's see. We have like 10 more minutes here. I think that was all I was gonna talk about. Oh yeah. Flashbang range, right? Sometimes you just not flashbang when people are within range. Keep in mind you have a 10-meter range on this, right? So we can flash someone from all the way back
Easy.
here, right? So make sure that we are understanding that
Never
distance, because
much
sometimes
like
people would be
you.
within that distance and we just wouldn't flashbang them, right? Now on top of that, let's also talk about range real quick. Um, your rough range is 10 meters. Your preferred range is 10 meters to like 25, right? This is your preferred range, right? Anything within that is getting a little close, though you can go within it, right? Depending upon the situation. Anything further than this, we are going to be inaccurate, and we're also going to get fall off damage, right? 1, 2, 3 shots, back to
Call
here.
that a
Now we're
fair
doing
fight.
right past 25 meter, 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, right? Back here we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reload 7, 8, 9, 10 shots, right? So not very great. be
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
closer. So that's pretty much it for now. Do you want to go over like we only have like 10 more minutes here to go over stuff? Do you want to do
Too
a quick play
slow.
game, or do you want to you might not even be able to get in a game in that time? Do you have a replay maybe to go over?
I might have a replay. Hold on here.
Because it's just with DPS queues, within that time we'd probably already we'd run out of time by the time you get into something.
Yeah, no problem.
Rest in peace.
That one was terrible. I don't know. I don't really want to go over that one. That one brings back bad memories. I mean, they were like pretty much all of these were pretty. This one was pretty close. We can go over a little bit of. Oh God, this is embarrassing. I remember something out of this one. Here. Or did you want to? Oh yeah, never mind. What am I doing? I gotta share it. We're gonna be out of time before I know what I'm doing. Share. There we go. Oh man, I'm scared.
All
I
right.
don't remember this game.
Welcome to Junkertown.
No mind. I mean, we're not gonna be on it for too long, so
Yeah.
doesn't matter super the quality of it. You not loaded any? Oh no, yours are yeah. That you
Yeah.
want to be on sorry here?
Yeah, that's fine. That's the only replays I have. I haven't played DPS in a while. I just wanted to go over one.
Okay. Oh, nice bubble right out of spawn. Very good. Maybe reload there when there was nothing to shoot at. Though the Hanzo one, right? Nobody's on Hanzo, so
Yeah.
not very
I
good.
thought he
at
was gonna
Hanzo.
jump. I thought he was falling off, but he didn't. He didn't go. He was taking the high ground like he should have.
Okay. Watch getting a little too aggressive here, right? We want to make sure that we're probably here. We just want to stick on the corner, stick behind your Reinhardt for the most part, because you can still be damaging from back here, right? But here we push forwards when we don't have bubble and when we don't have an advantage to push off of. So essentially, we're going too aggressive when we don't have anything to go aggressive off of. Have we gone over aggression scaling at all?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So here, for example, we're going
Right
in
now,
the
50-50.
yeah. Right now we should be at 50%, but what are we kind of at right now?
We're going about 80%. I
Yeah,
think almost
exactly.
100% there.
Then we do pull back a little bit, but it's just a little too aggressive. Then that
Yeah.
does a bunch of damage to us, and it means that we're down on damage. We also are lobbing in right clicks there when we're within left click distance. So I imagine we talked about that. So
Yes, we did.
left clicking there, right?
Oh shit! What was that noise? Oh.
Okay.
I thought I queued for a game on something else.
Bubbling when nobody's looking at us or shooting at us, right? In fact, if we see no one's looking at us and shooting at us, what's a way that we can get people to look at us and shoot at us?
Run in front of them, or
Run up here where 5 people can see you,
yeah,
shoot at them. They all look at us. We bubble. We back up around the corner, and now nobody can see us, right?
yeah.
So that's how you get easy energy. Whereas here we bubble and nothing happens, right? Okay, right now we probably want to be looking for a. There you go. Okay, decent, not great bubbles though. Again, because like while bubbling here, Oh, we bubbled like a second after she took that damage, which
Yeah.
stinks. Then with our bubble, when do we bubble? Like, can people see us here?
Behind. No, I'm
Oh,
behind
we're
the
behind the
payload.
corner, right? So
Yeah,
want to make sure people can see us and damage us, right?
yeah. Preferably already shooting. That's
Yep.
seems to be the best so far that I've
Yep,
seen.
exactly, right? Which
Shooting
is why the big thing is and are damaging us, right?
Yeah,
There's sometimes you can predict it, sometimes you can't. That's a good time, right? Because she's won, you just saved her life, and also knew that she was gonna keep shooting.
yeah.
Alright, very nice. Okay, now we're high energy. Though we ended up missing a bunch of shots. Shoot, when you're firing a right click, fire it into the floor, not at her. Because when you fire it at her, what happens if you miss?
It hit something else and not
Okay.
even close to her.
What happens if you aim it at her legs or her feet and
Splash damage.
slash damage, right? So you miss
Yeah.
and it still hits her.
Yeah.
So on top of that, you just here kind of like back, or we kind of like, we're not running at her here. Whereas here, if we're trying to get the kill very easily, we just run at her and like right click melee, right? Just get within that distance. But then she gets out. Oh, good job taking the high ground there off of that. That's good reactions. Oh, very nice. Maybe it'll need to drop from high ground to still do value because that's within your 15 meters, right, of your left click. So you can still be shooting Moira and Sigma from here. On top of that, I might also, if we see Sigma's HP, Sigma might be the better target to finish off here. But we still get a 4K. Very, very nice, right? We got the energy up, and then notice how once we got the energy up, that's when we get all the kills.
Yeah. To try to work on that, like so I've been trying to like put it in my brain to wait for incoming damage to bubble. You know, like even if I take a little bit of a damage, at least I know they're shooting at me, and I get more value out of the bubble.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to pay attention to taking, better routes, getting cover. It's a lot to take in,
Yep.
like, stuff that I just haven't really paid attention to. It's been extremely valuable.
So here, let's see if you can identify this mistake, because I feel like it's a fairly obvious mistake. So let's just run through it real quick, and then this helps you, this helps you identify it for yourself and fix your own mistakes here, right?
I just ignored the
Right.
the tire that
Ignore the
killed
tire.
Ariana.
What are two things we could have done to tire had we been paying attention to it?
Bubbled some folks or just killed the tire,
Exactly, right? We're
Yeah.
high energy. We could melt that thing pretty fast, right? If we saw it. So
Yeah, I
melting
don't
it.
think I saw it.
Yep, and then listening for it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a big old audio, big old loud thing. Fire in the hole, right? He's literally he's screaming it, man. Right. On top of that, we just hear the tire itself, and then we miss somebody. On top of that, we can also probably kill the Junkrat there if we're paying attention.
Yeah, I'm Russian. I didn't understand what he said. I just knew he was yelling.
Yep. Maybe a little far forwards, right? Like again here, like we don't have she has people healing her off to the side, right? Aggression wise, we're going okay. Well, we're by ourselves right now. D.Va has there's 3 people here, so we're 1v3ing at the moment. We don't have a advantage to go off of, right? We don't. I think we just use bubble, so we don't have bubble, right? And we also push like into out of like positioning. Like maybe we could have done it if like we were right here, but we also push inwards to where like everybody can see us. So that's just it's just a wee bit over aggressive, right? When we
Yeah.
don't, again going up into like the 80-90% territory of aggression when we probably should be at like 50%, right? Or even maybe even slightly less than that since we don't have bubble. Right, so we bubble while backing and while no one's shooting at us, so paying attention to, people shooting at us. On top of that, what's the mistake here? Because again, I feel like this is a slightly, slightly obvious mistake that maybe you can identify. So I just want to see if you
I saw
can.
2. Lucio's getting shot at and I didn't bubble him, and then I grabbed right in a D.Va's face.
Yeah,
and only saw the D.Va. I mean, like at least, I mean, I knew the Moira was there too, but
yeah. So here, I wasn't even thinking
I'm
about
right-clicking.
Lucio is maybe Lucio, but I mean he doesn't look like he's taking too much damage because it's just D.Va looking at him and he's pretty far away. So I don't know if you need a bubble here or if it even do very much for you. So that one, I give a pass on. But here, this is the big thing is that first off we grab without really seeing who we're grabbing, and therefore do we get 2 people? Yeah, we get 2 people. Okay, so we get 2 people, which is pretty good. Okay, so we get them, but the big thing is we just grab straight in front of D.Va's face, right?
Yeah.
When that's a recipe for just getting that eaten, especially the higher up in ranks you go, right? When D.Vas are actually watching for your grab. So how do you avoid that? right? How do you
Shooting
avoid
at the
getting hit?
ground.
Shooting at the ground, right? Because that lowers the distance for it. Honestly, you have a lot of different options here. You can attempt to demech her before you go for it. You can, wait till somebody else demechs her. You can wait till she's dead. You can wait till she's on the other side of the map, right? If she's over here fighting, then she can't eat it, right? You can wait till she's
Yeah.
just out of range. You can wait till she's used defense matrix all up. You can wait till she's just pressed the button and then you have a 2-second period before she can press it again. You can try to do it around the corner because this means that first off, when you do it on a corner, it means that it has a very fast travel time, right? It's, half a second before it detonates. And then on top of that, it also means that she can't really see where the heck you are when you're using it, right? So a lot of different things when you're using it. The big thing is just don't lob it right in front of her face, right? Is the big thing, right? You can also fake going for it, right? Like maybe you can like pretend to do it by like walking forwards and looking at the ground, and then that baits her into you. It gets into a whole bunch of mind games things,
Yeah.
especially when you
Yeah.
get really high up. But for the moment, just anything but shooting it straight at her face, right? Good job focusing the lamp. Good bubble. Besides that, good grab placement, right?
Maximum charge.
And losing track of Moira there. What should aggression level be at the moment?
About 50.
About
Maybe
50?
maybe 65.
It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus a 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we've talked about kill feed watching before, right?
Okay, yeah.
So
I
is this
see Dr. Gonzo's Gonzo.
okay? Is this a advantage or is this a one fight?
This is a disadvantage.
A disadvantage? Why are we at a we're red?
Okay, well, I mean, I guess we have. I mean, it's 4v5 right now, right?
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. Right?
Okay,
We're up two
yeah.
people.
I got you. Yeah, so we're up 2 people, so around 70%.
So let's discuss that because I don't. Did we ever discuss the in depth of kill feed? Because it's from what it sounded like we didn't discuss in depth of kill feed.
We probably did. I just,
Yeah, so let's refresh that a little bit, right? Because
Okay.
how do you tell whether or not you're winning or losing a fight when you're at 2 kills? Because 2, if you remember, is the middleman, right? It goes 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3, right? So how do you tell when 2 is the middle? Well, you tell because there's a lot of other things that go into whether or not you're winning or losing a fight, right? Which team has more health, better positioning, more abilities, more ultimates, right? Which team has closer spawns, right? Just a lot of different things, right? Now, if you, for example, if let's say these guys right here, enemy team, if they're down 2 people, yet your entire team is 1 HP, it's still winnable, right? Or if they're down 2 people, but they have close spawns like on a 2 CP map, well, it's still winnable. If they're down 2 people and your whole team is about to, is in a grab and maybe you're about to combo it with something else, then that's still winnable, right? But if you are down 2 people and have no additional major advantage, then that is a lost fight, right? So as of the moment, they have no major advantage against you guys. Therefore, this is a lost fight for them, right? They are down 2 people, and you guys, if you chose to right now, probably could push them and finish them off very easily, right? So as of the moment, we probably should have like an 80 or 90 aggression, and then if our team chose not to follow us, then we'd tone it down a little bit. But right now, what we want to do is push these guys so that we can finish them off and secure the win. Otherwise, if we don't, then we kind of let them spam us for free, and then they get their players back, and then we don't really stagger them at all, right?
Yeah.
So here, this is a 1 fight currently.
Ready for battle.
Now we do push, which is good. They kind of overstay their welcome a little bit there, right? And then, as you see, we win it very easily because that's like I said, it was already won, and then therefore there's a very low likelihood that we lost that.
Gotcha.
Iron on fire.
Pushed up a little far here. But I finally got some backup, so.
Yeah, so you identified what the problem was. We pushed up a little far. What was maybe the secondary problem there? Besides over-aggression.
I tried to take. I don't know. I mean.
Were we maybe caught off guard by anything?
Iron on fire.
Yeah, they're just, I mean, I got stunned.
Do you think was it?
I didn't
I
even
mean,
see Sigma coming. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
it just
I think in this
surprised.
situation, I don't think we were aware that Sigma was there. We weren't paying attention to
Yeah,
the respawns. We didn't hear or see Sigma, and then therefore we didn't react to Sigma until after he already did 3/4 of our health, right?
yep.
I
On
am
top
on
of that,
fire.
right, while we're shooting at Baptiste, right, we probably can keep a little bit of a healthy distance, right? So here we don't need to like sprint at him, right? Because here if Sigma's shooting at us, and we can probably just finish off Bap here and just back up pretty easily if we just know the Sigma's coming, right? We also have bubble in like 2 seconds, so this is pretty winnable if we don't overextend and we're paying attention to Sigma, right?
That's more like it.
And then that completely changes the flow because that, stops us from getting a kill. We die, we lose all of our energy, we put our team at a disadvantage. I think, do we lose that fight? Yeah, and then we pretty much lose that fight because of the fact that we were, actually, wait, no, they only have 3 people here. Never mind, it's even right now. So, I thought that when I saw those other two guys, I didn't realize they were so far away. So yeah, in that instance, right, we just lose all the momentum, and we probably could have honestly just full pushed it had we kept going. Oh snap! We didn't do the wrap up. Okay, well in any case, let's speed through this wrap up real quick. I got a little too into the VOD.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, all good. So here, let's just real quickly. We were on mostly McCree, and then a little bit of the.
Justice ain't gonna dispense.
Little bit of
itself.
Zarya, right? So McCree, ability usage, probably like a medium priority for ability usage. High noon usage, like a medium priority. Mechanics. Trying to think through all the different things we talked about. Probably a medium high priority.
Day's work.
Yeah, stop rolling into the enemy.
Yeah, that was definitely one of them, right? Oh, positioning. Positioning was honestly not terrible. We used cover for the most part. I think we overextended a lot, which is bad positioning, and we also didn't want to make sure we're rotating in between fights. But besides that, we did a decent job with positioning. So probably say there were some big ones that we messed up on, but I'm going to attribute overextension more to survivability, which we'll get into. So overall, probably say positioning goes to like a low to medium, right? Awareness probably goes up to like a medium high. Awareness / aggression, right? The two combined, medium high, and then finally survivability, probably a medium high, right? As we just end up dying a lot, right? So real quick, just put that in order. Probably say that trying to think there. Probably say awareness / aggression comes as number 1. Number 2 goes as survivability. Number 3 goes as mechanics. 4 comes in at your ability usage. 5 comes in at ultimate usage, and then 6 comes in at positioning. And then positioning, there is, I probably say it would be a little bit higher, but I'm kind of putting the what I usually the overaggression, like that is technically positioning, but we're just kind of putting that in the survivability category instead of the positioning category, right? So overall, the positioning category goes down, right? So that's pretty much it, man. Do you got any
No
questions on
payment
anything?
required. This one's
No,
mine.
that's it. I'll look into talking to the wife about booking some more sessions, man. I really appreciate all your help, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, sounds good.